finals. Extremely ambitious, but
So earlier this week, I got to play a new FPS game called The Finals, and I can confidently say that this game is absolutely absurd. It plays like nothing else that currently exists on the market at all. In fact, it's pulling inspiration from like 5 different kinds of games, so please bear with me here as I try to explain. First, it is a high time to kill shooter played in teams of 3.
okay, high time to kill. So stuff like Apex, and that's pretty much it. So Gamer Bro stuff. High TTK. Love it.
If you enjoyed how team fights in Apex play out, where it takes a bit of time to put down enemies and at most usually 2 or 3 shot them, with the combination of also being able to res your feeder teammates who do go down, the finals plays out very similarly, but with the addition of old school FPS weaponry. That is all the standard FPS weapons like
So just looking at this, at that like a little bit before, like let me see.
for feeder teammates who do go down, the finals plays out very similarly, but with the addition of old school.
Bro, look at all the visual clutter in this game. What is happening to this man right here? Did he just spontaneously combust?
FPS.
Oh my god. And where did he go right here? What is happening? I can't see.
Weaponry. That is all the standard FPS weapons like
And was he in a black suit in all that smoke with like a black mask? Oh my god.
rifles, snipers, shotguns.
Look at all this fire. What is this? What is this? I'm taking damage from this side. I'm taking damage from that side. I got some indicators down here. I don't know what this is. You know, you got your crosshair right here. Your gun is like, I guess that's fine. All right. But like, look at all this. And there's like some blurring effect going on. Like, what? And I don't know if there's like any crossplay in this yet. I don't know if there's like, if you can like play controller on this or is it MK only? Don't know. We'll see.
But it also adds stuff like swords, grenade launchers, RPGs, and even a one-shot backstab knife, which is just basically the spy from TF2.
That's actually kind of funny. Imagine playing like Apex, but you can sometimes like just get behind someone and melee them, like just one-shot melee them. That would actually be insanely funny. You'd have to play on like a pretty high sense, like something pretty speedy, like 35, 30 cm. That's actually kind of funny.
The finals has so many options because it's a game that aims for extreme customization. Instead of going for the standard hero shooter model like every other FPS game, you instead build your character. You get to choose the weapon you want to use and all of your tactical skills.
Look at all these tacticals. Bro, Apex only has like, or wait, Apex only has like a tactical, an ult, and a passive. This down here is like, I guess that's a tactical. Then there's like, equip your gun, equip your grenade, do something else, and do another thing. Okay.
Before getting into the game at all. They then took this customization and went one step further and applied it to the maps. The finals has full map destruction, straight out of old Battlefield games like Bad Company 2. You can go through walls, you can level entire buildings. If you can see it, you can basically break it. Which
This is actually freaking cool. Like being able to like level buildings with like whatever, he went into like fury mode or whatever and just punch the whole wall out. Imagine like, because like the commonality in like a lot of BRs and like FPSs or whatever is like take height, always take the height, get on the roof. And if you got a team chilling on a building, refusing to give up height, it is not entirely impossible for like, depending on your team comp, like 1 or 2 dudes to pop this like little fury move and just go ham on the wall and take the building down.
which is something that hasn't been done in a really, really long time.
And it
All of
just
this is
comes
played
down.
on an extraction shooter style game mode called Cash Out. 4 teams duke it out, collect cash, and try to extract. The team with the most cash after 8 minutes wins.
Okay. 4 teams of 3. There's 12 people dropping in a match. That seems good enough. Try to extract with the most money. That is unique. Like, there's no other game that like really does that. So I'm interested a little bit.
Put it all together, and you have this really incredibly unique FPS experience that doesn't really play like anything else that's currently out there, which is genuinely refreshing in the current FPS industry. Most games these days are just remixes or iterations of other games. Valorant is Riot's take on Counter-Strike.
Yep.
Overwatch is Blizzard's take on Team Fortress 2.
Yep.
Apex is Respawn's take on a battle royale. The list goes on. The
Mhm.
finals, on the other hand, is trying to make something truly new by combining so many different genres together. And it's cool. But also, it has a lot of problems. It needs a ton of work. But the fundamental absurdity of what they're trying to pull off makes it really, really.
What is happening? Like, bro, there is so much visual clutter. Oh my god, look at this. You got fire, you're taking damage. I don't know what this green gas stuff is. Like, something is active, mega damage. It's like, okay, there's like the smoke. The visual clutter clips through itself. So you got sparks, you got smoke on smoke action right here. Like, whoa, dude, chill.
really fun. And I had a lot of fun playing it, at least for now. We'll dive more into the flaws later, but first, let's dive into the fundamentals. Before even queuing up for a game, you're going to want to create a build. Your first choice is decide whether it's a light, medium, or heavy. You'll choose a spec, a weapon, and 3 utility skills. Each build type has its own unique pools of weapons and skills. For example, lights can have a sniper rifle and a grappling hook, and a medium can't, but instead a medium can have like a turret and put down some mines. There's a ton of choices to make, but generally speaking, lights are high on DPS and mobility, but they're squishy. Mediums are, well, they're just medium, but they
They're
have a
just
lot
medium.
of team utility. Heavies are tanky with a ton of explosive options for map destruction and big guns like LMGs. In this specific game, I'm playing a support build. I decided on full team utility with a medic heal gun to heal my teammates, a defibrillator to instantly res a teammate, a jump pad, and also a zip line. Yes, it is that stacked, and it is actually that absurd.
That's crazy. Look at all these abilities. Like, if we want to compare this to Apex, it's like Pathfinder, Octane, instant res. Like, what? Heal beam? What? Plus, with like flashbang grenade, gas grenade, night vision. Oh my god. There's so much stuff going on.
Immediately after spawning into the game, you're going to notice some things. First, there are always 2 vaults and 2 cash outs, which spawn randomly around the map. The vaults are where the money's at. You have to capture it, which takes about 30 seconds, after which anyone on your team can pick it up and start bringing it to a cash out location to start the extraction. Here's the catch though. It's an actual object someone on your team has to hold, and because vaults are always marked, everyone else in the game knows exactly where you are and will try to gank you.
Okay.
If you successfully get a vault to a cash out, you now have the pleasure of defending it while it extracts for the next 2 minutes. This might sound like a long time, but the developers have done a good job with overall pacing. Respawns are long, 30 seconds long actually, and enemy players usually spawn far away. If you full wipe a team, you won't see them for at least a minute, meaning you don't have to fight chain respawning players who are running you over and over. And also, games themselves aren't very long to begin with. A cash out extraction takes 2 minutes. Games in total are only 8 minutes long. Cash outs can be stolen by going into a long animation, which is basically like a defuse from Valorant or Counter-Strike. Whoever controls the cash out at the end of the 2 minutes gets all the money. It is entirely possible to ninja steal a cash out in the last second and take the entire reward. The cash out itself is also a physical object. In my limited playtime, I've already seen a cash out get stolen when a team broke through a couple floors that it was sitting on, and then the cash out dropped straight into their hands instead. Also, keep in mind that finishing a cash out is not the only source of cash. Kills give cash, and most importantly, full wiping a team causes them to lose a massive amount of money. It's possible for everyone to gang up on the leaders and try to wipe them in order to make a comeback. From a gameplay perspective, the most interesting part about Cash Out is the wide variety of playstyles it offers. Offensive setups that focus on map destruction can help you push enemy extractions easier, but can be vulnerable to teams looking to fight in the open off of the objective. Meanwhile, defensive turtle teams can be effective by simply delaying pushes for so long that the inevitable third or fourth party shows up, similar to how Caustic or Watson teams play in Apex Legends. And of course, highly mobile teams would ideally play map control to gank enemy teams on routes in between objectives. Chances are the best team comps will probably have a little bit of everything, but it's cool to see so many strengths and weaknesses play out in a single map type. And when you combine the game mode's natural variety of playstyles with the amount of builds available, combined with the map destruction from game to game, you end up in a lot of situations that are just plain unique. Every game's a little bit different than the last one, and I think this is really the main strength of the finals. You will always run into the most absurd situations over and over again that will simply never happen in any other FPS game on the market right now. However, these absurd situations have a cost, and that's the combat legibility of the game. Combat legibility is your ability to understand what the hell's going on at any given point. Unfortunately, when walls are being blown up everywhere and you're getting shot at by multiple teams and the floor above or below you can disappear in an instant, it becomes very easy to get completely lost and have no idea how you died or what's going on. Oh yeah, and don't forget there's no kill cam, so no way to actually see what happened. It gets worse because the game also has a ton of screen shake and visual clutter. Trust me, I play Overwatch all the time, and this game's visual clutter is bad.
Jesus.
The build customization also hurts combat legibility. You never know what the enemy is capable of until they start using their abilities or you see them for the first time. When someone can have a build that runs around invisible with a sword and someone else can be a dude with a grappling hook and a sniper rifle, it just gets hard to predict the situation you're about to walk into. Speaking about that customization, balance is about to be an absolute nightmare in this game. Games like Apex or Valorant have guardrails in place, right? At least everybody there uses the same guns. Doesn't matter how bad it gets, at least I could still shoot you. I think this game will have bigger problems because it's more similar to Overwatch. There's simply so many possible playstyles, many of which are not rooted in traditional FPS mechanics, that the smallest tweak can accidentally open up a completely degenerate team comp that basically ruins the game. It's entirely possible this team eventually has a meta where you just say, run a heavy with the shield and 2 medium healers with the grenade launchers who just pocket the tank, or a meta with triple invis sniper rifle loadouts. There's just so many possibilities to balance around, and it's not like teams are restricted or locked in any way. You can run 2 mediums, 3 heavies, 3 light, any combo you want, you can run it, and the developers need to balance around all of them. It's got to be so difficult for them.
That's going to be a balancing nightmare. There's no possible way. Well, there has to be, you know? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this was like a early beta, early access, whatever game. We'll see.
The fundamentals of the finals are also not great. Movement and gunplay are both acceptable, but they're not very good. Movement has high acceleration and often feels like you're in mud. The grappling hook, for example, just falls completely flat in comparison to Apex and Pathfinder. Overwatch and Apex in particular are extremely tight on their controls. The finals is not quite there yet. As for weapons, it's fantastic that the game has a lot of options, but so far many of...
I think that the feeling of the controls, that'll get ironed out like over time. Maybe the next time they have like an open access thing or whatever, maybe they'll tighten it up.
Them feel shallow. The grenade launcher in RPG felt like noob tubes. You just sort of point at them and click, and they just do a ton of damage. And it's even worse than Overwatch's Junkrat, because at least Overwatch's Junkrat has to attempt to aim at you or has the ability to hit directs. The full auto grenade launcher for the heavy, for example, you can start directing people straight in the face and they don't even blow up. It's specifically designed to be a only spam weapon, which is also a little bit interesting, but it also makes it very brain dead. Other weapons...
Yeah, like just right there, it looked like when he was lobbing those projectiles or whatever, like C4s, it looked like they were going like super freaking slow through the air to the point. So like you have to get like way closer than you need to, like maybe around a corner or like off a head glitch or like a side peek to like get a lob out there. I don't know. We'll see.
Weapons, like say your normal rifles and stuff, had no noticeable recoil patterns or anything to learn. Just try and
No recoil patterns. Oh my god. And Apex has aim smoothing. Call of Duty has like more or less like set recoil patterns, kind of. And if this has like kind of like nothing, then it's like, is it just like Bloom?
track the enemy through the million particle effects and hope for the best. The visual feedback and feel of the guns simply doesn't feel clean to me. It's just okay.
Yeah.
Of course, also need to say that it is just a beta, and I do expect to see some improvements here in the long run. As an example, referring to the grapple, the developers already said they're aiming to improve the air control for the grappling hook in their game, so that way people can make more plays with it, which is awesome. Regardless, when a game has this many flaws, I would usually write it off and assume the worst, probably because I'm a cynical boomer. But the finals is such a unique take on an FPS that even though the fundamentals are scuffed, I had so much fun in this playtest. I genuinely have no idea how this game is going to be received by the masses, though. It is entirely possible that the issues surrounding combat legibility alienate a casual audience. Maybe your average gamer walks in, doesn't understand what's happening, and just uninstalls. And maybe it's possible that D-Gen meta team comps will drive away the hardcore player base as well.
Yeah.
Alternatively,
so with the amount of, so like visual clutter is more or less like a blanket term that like FPS bros use to say like, it stops me from aiming, all right? But from a developer standpoint, you know, the developers aren't like like people that play FPSs like all day every day. So it's like for them, like all these like VFX and things like this are just like, these are supposed to enhance like your immersion into the game, you know, sparks, explosions, fire, smoke, like damage indicators, like glass breaking, everything like this. This is supposed to enhance immersion, but from a player perspective, this can be very alienating because you literally just cannot see what's going on. And plus, if you have things like flash grenades that are on a recharge, like you don't have to like, so like they're consistently going to be a thing. It's like, it makes it even worse.
Maybe the developer's good sense of time to kill and combat pacing keeps people around, and people learn to appreciate the experience with the full map destruction that you just can't get anywhere else. Either way, I find it so refreshing to have a developer truly trying to innovate in the FPS space, and I'm going to be playing the crap out of this game. If you're interested in some of my gameplay highlights from the playtest, at least one will probably be uploaded to my second YouTube channel, B_Siegel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
All right. Love it. All right. Good shit, Siegel. So I wanted to watch that first because that's like an overview type video. And now I want to show like a movement video from Mogi Sniper, completely breaking the finals with illegal Apex movement tech. All right.
The finals beta has been out for 2 days, and I've already gone and figured out the wackiest ways to manipulate the movement tools within it and bend them to my will. And I had a chance to talk to some other movement nerds about some crazy stuff. Let's talk about what we found. The Finals is a team-based arena shooter with an emphasis on destruction, movement and sandbox gameplay. The closed beta for it is live right now. If you want to know more about the rest of the game, go watch the countless of other videos that dropped on it around YouTube. I'm only here to talk about movement. For this video, this means 5 things: the zipline, the jump pad, the grapple, prop surfing and general movement tips. Let's start with the zipline, cause for it I figured out the craziest thing so far. Zipline super jumping. In my quest to find movement tech in the finals, I just spammed a bunch of inputs on the zipline and suddenly went way higher.
Oh my god.
That triggered my monkey brain immediately. So I did some science to figure out the specifics and boil it down to a reliable method. There are 4 major things at play here. Number 1. Jumping off a zipline gives you a small speed boost and lets you keep the zipline speed you build up while riding it. That feels like the obvious and intended behavior and is already a great technique to use. Just jump off zip lines for a speed boost.
All right. So when Moki's talk about movement, there's probably going to be a lot of like velocity preserving type methods that he's going to use in this game. And I'm just curious to see, because we saw what Siegel did, which was like an overview. Um, I really want to see what Moki's gonna bring in this one. So you already have zip jumping, which is crazy, and you already figured out a way to preserve your velocity off of zips. So that's awesome.
Or interact jump of them to use them like small jump pads. But it appears that the developers didn't strictly limit that to velocity you gain from being attached to the zipline. Cause if you interact and jump quickly enough, the jump inherits all velocity, no matter where it came from. That can be from riding the zipline or a previous zipline jump, but also from falling and from jump pads. The zipline jump then takes all that momentum and converts it into the new jump direction. Number 2.
Oh my god. That's freaking crazy, dude. So there's probably like a range that you can interact with the zip. It'll be like E or something, and let's say it'll be like 3 meters. Like your character's hitbox have to be like 3 meters off of the zip for the prompt to even happen. I don't know what exactly is happening, but as long as your character is like, as long as you get the prompt and you hit it, and depending on like the activation of it, like you can still keep falling, and I think that's what's preserving all the velocity. And you see like these huge slingshots.
The further away you are from a zipline when you interact jump, the more of that previous velocity you get to keep into the jump. Number 3. The faster you are when approaching the zipline, the bigger the range gets where you can interact with it.
Oh my god. So let's say the normal, like a normal like walking animation, you can like it, and you look at as like you're walking and you look at the zip and the command prompt to like attach pops up, and it'll be like normally 3 meters. What Moki is saying is like, say you're already moving insanely fast, that command prompt will pop up way earlier, and let's say it'll be extended to like 6 meters, 9 meters, like 12, 15 meters, so on and so forth. So the more momentum you have, the more velocity you have, the farther the prompt will pop up off the zip, which is hilarious.
I don't think the actual range increases, but that the way this game handles movement server side makes it so it effectively works like an increased range on your side. And number 4, jumping in the direction of the slope of the zipline seems to massively increase your speed. All this results in the following mantra: interact jump of a zipline from as far away with as much speed as you can. Ta-da! You're super jumping. And of course, this also works in combination with low gravity.
Oh my god.
Here are some particular strategies. You can interact jump of a vertical zipline, turn around, and immediately get an even bigger interact jump of it. If you ride the zipline a bit before doing that, you get even more velocity. On horizontal ziplines, you can just keep letting yourself fall, hit that maximum range, and interact jump. Rinse and repeat to bounce higher and higher, cause each jump inherits all your previous velocity and then adds a bit of velocity on top.
Oh my god, you don't even need jump pads. All you need is a horizontal zip line, dude. Oh my god. Now, the real question. How much accuracy do you have while you're in the air? Does it drop to 0? Or is it like Horizon, where you have like 100% air accuracy?
And while approaching the end of a zipline, you can just do one single super jump to juke out enemies.
Oh my god, just from that right there. Oh god. Like, it seems like you have your normal like accuracy on the ground as you do in the air. Oh my god.
Wouldn't be surprised if you can interact jump on the way down and then on the way up again, which would explain the sudden huge speed you can get when spamming interact and jump. Small extra tip, you can sprint on ziplines for even more speed. Another way to get more speed is to subscribe, to not miss more the finals movement content if I make some. I believe zipline super jumping should absolutely stay a thing in the finals.
Oh, that's what you would want to happen, Boki. That's what you would want to happen. Oh man. If they ever implement controllers in this game, they ain't gonna like that.
with how powerful the jump pad is, which I'm getting to next, and what the developers are seemingly trying to go for in this game, I don't think it's out of place. I mean, this is what a jump pad on low gravity looks like. They should probably put a velocity limit on the jump, since I've already managed to hit the skybox. But as a core mechanic, it should 100% stay. Just look at a moment like this. Traversal and skill expression like this should be a thing. This is the definition of emerging gameplay, and I can only plead with the developers to keep this in the game. Although with a limit on the extreme cases. Something that has already been confirmed to be a bug is that when you mantle and interact with the zip at the same time, you can get flung into a random direction with insane speed. But let's talk about the jump pad.
Oh my god.
There are two things I want to mention here. The angle you place the jump pad at directly influences the angle at which you get launched. Even small angles already make a difference. So placing it on a slanted roof or other slopes lets you go way further. That seems to have a limit though, at least on terrain. There you often can't place it on angles steeper than 45 degrees.
Alright.
On other objects like walls and goo, that limit doesn't exist and you can create even vertical jump pads. Please also be aware that you can slide into the pad for more forward momentum. This is especially useful on pads that are placed on flat ground to not just get sent straight up into the air. Next up, prop surfing. The first clip I saw of prop surfing was from Baby Cloak, and a shout out has to go to Minesweeper, who helped me to understand it correctly. He also connected me with Entervene, who confirmed some of the findings I had about the zipline. They are all grinding for movement clips in the finals, and I've linked to them in the description. I'd love for you to check them out. Prop surfing works because you can't just throw items with a left click, but drop them with right click as well. And they, like all the other objects in this game, have player collision. So if you're riding them, you can gain momentum from them. The method that works most reliable for me is to jump and throw it slightly ahead of me, under my feet. The jump timing and how steep that angle is changes from prop to prop, and I feel like it's also different from light, medium to heavy. You also seem to be able to jump off it once you're riding it, and can potentially even grab it again and keep riding it. Minesweeper is using a method of throwing it behind him, and folks have already figured out that you can surf the fire canister when someone else throws it, and then combine that with prop surfing. So more experimentation is definitely necessary.
Why do I feel like this was what happened in Fortnite when they figured out that you could ride like RPGs?
I'm pretty sure though prop surfing will be deemed an exploit and fixed. We have to see.
Yeah.
For the grapple, I figured out that it's mostly controlled by your movement input, so WASD, and holding backwards while grappling up to a roof gives you massive clearance and lets you swing around objects way better. The grapple works by either holding it and letting go to disconnect, or tabbing it and hitting jump or crouch to disconnect it. I prefer just tabbing it. So tap grapple, hold backwards, clear the obstacle, and then hold forward for more momentum, and disconnect it with a crouch when you hit the highest forward speed. The same goes for clearing objects with sideways inputs. The only ground-based grapple tech I figured out is that you get to keep its momentum when going up slopes.
Okay.
If you then jump in the correct moment, you can use the slope almost like a ramp. In general, it seems to be a good idea to jump out of the grapple when you have ground contact. As you can see in this clip from Jay's WASD, he gets to keep more of the grapple velocity by jumping off the ground. And then I'm not 100% sure what happened after. If the speed he got out of the zipline only came from the grapple, or if the jump pad gave him some extra speed. Either way, it shows the momentum conversion of ziplines pretty well. The only thing that I figured out for the evasive dash is that there are 3 charges that you can use back to back, and that you can use it to gain height by looking up while dashing. Now onto general movement tech. You can sprint in all directions, not just forward. And even though you can't slide immediately out of a sideways or backward sprint, you can after you jumped. So to quickly gain some distance from an enemy while still being able to aim at them or get into cover, you can sprint backwards or sideways, jump and hold crouch. That's a jump slide. And slide jumping into holding a slide is also an option.
The game, your FPS just feels better if you have a slide jump.
Whenever you go down and want to keep speed, holding crouch is a habit you should pick up in general. On downward slopes, you can put jumps in between to keep extending your slide. You
Okay.
can also instantly slide out of a mantle. This lets you clear gaps that you wouldn't be able to clear with just a jump.
You know what? I bet Moki was trying to figure out if you could super glide in this game off of mantle, and this just happened. All right, so I bet that is what happened.
For that, you want to sprint throughout the mantle and then hold slide at the end of the mantle. The timing is a bit tricky to get down at first, but you'll get there. The jump is a bit more tricky, because for some reason there's a bigger delay on jumps than the rest of your movement. I would understand if the delay was the same because of the server side movement, but this jump delay is weird. This makes it so you need to time the jump together with the crouch, even though you want to slide a bit first. I have this gut feeling that there are even more movement techniques hiding in this game.
Oh yeah.
And that the ones we found so far will be expanded upon. What you saw in this video is just what we found in the first 2 days. Okay, bye!
Oh, freaking awesome, man. Freaking love it. You know? So with the 2 videos, it's like the general gameplay seems like mid to like, it just seems like mid or whatever. But you know, you watch Moki's stuff and it's like, it's a whole different game with the move tech. It's crazy. So like the game, it'll be on my radar and we'll see what happens. But it does look good. All right. Peace.